Yeah, the doubleheader has arrived. Chun is back. I got 2 matches today against Somalia the King. Both are pretty short, but they are pretty fun nonetheless. The first match is a DPP OU match that dates all the way back to 2011, around the time of Smogon Tour 12. I ran into him on the PO ladder, and he was testing a team out, and I was grinding with my Smogon Tour 12 team to try to get to the top of the ladder, so I had to make sure I was on my A game so I wouldn't lose any points. The second match was much more recent. It was for a 4th gen underused tournament that was recently held in Smogon's Ruins of Alph forum. I decided to bring a team fresh off the team builder, so I had never played a single game with it before this tournament. By the way, for anyone looking to do some tournaments in the older gens and you don't mind using PO for them, swing by the Ruins of Alph forum, since they'll be hosting future tournaments exclusively for past generations. Anyway, let's go ahead and get into the matches. I'm going to lead with Yuxi. He leads with the Zelf, and I do what I always do against the Zelf leads. I'm going to U-turn to scout the set. He's going to go for taunt first turn, telling me he's either Focus Sash or Cobra Zelf, so I go to Scizor. And I decided here to show him that Scizor is scarred, since the opportunity to deny him Stealth Rock for the rest of the game is too good to pass up. So I finish off his Elf, go back to Yuxi to try to set up rocks on whatever comes in. He's going to reveal Magnezone on the free switch. Yuxi can't do anything to zone except paralyze it, so I just set up rocks now to scout what set he's running. He shows Reflect, so it looks like it's a dual screen zone. This also indicates that he might be running heavy offense as well. And after seeing that, I kind of facepalmed, since I expected Light Screen to be the next move, so I just make the best of it and go to Heatran to force it out. Surprisingly shows Hidden Power Fire, so that backfired on him. He must have thought I'd bring Scizor back in. Don't want Light Screen going up, so I just go for Earth Power, not wanting to miss with Fire Blast. He stays in, and I outspeed since I'm running Life Orb Heatran. Might have been expecting me to be running specially defensive Heatran. He reveals Kingdra here. I get really ballsy, stay in to reveal the taunt. I was expecting it to be Chesto Rush Dragon Dance, so I wanted to limit the setup. Turns out I outrun it as well, and I make the right play. I know all he can do is attack, so I'm gonna go to Yuxi. He does show Waterfall. It's a 5-hit KO. I decide here the Thunder Wave. In case Kingdra's running Rain Dance, it won't be able to abuse Swift Swim, and I wanted to get it to burn off the possible Chesto Berry as well. And I believe I was also stalling out Reflect turns here, since I just didn't want to deal with Reflect. So all of this culminates on putting pressure on Kingdra. He keeps waterfalling. I end up just going to Dragonite and finally dropping a Draco Meteor on it to finish it off. He's gonna get a free switch. He's gonna fodder Kingdra out to get a free switch to his Gengar. I decided to go back to Heatran, probably expecting Shadow Ball, since predicting Heatran to come in and throwing Focus Blast is a bit risky. He goes for Will-O-Wisp, which was very rare on Gengar. Not expecting Heatran to come in, but Scizor instead, which makes sense. I got another Flash Fire boost out of it, but he decides to go for Focus Blast and finish Heatran off. Stick with the plan. I had planned to trap that Gengar with Scarf Scizor, so I end up doing that. He reveals Infernape on the free switch. I might need Scizor for later on, so I decided to go back to Yuxi in case he might predict Dragonite to come in and throw a random Stone Edge out. He immediately shows that he's running Swords Dance Ape, which makes sense on a team like this. So I could have gone for the KO here, but I figured that he'd seen my entire moveset, so in case he got cute to try to switch, I threw a Thunder Wave out. He actually stays in the Swords Dance again and closed the gap. Since it's a 5-2 situation, I finish it off this turn with Psychic, and Somalia is going to forfeit. So that's going to be the first match. That was a good game. I was laddering pretty hard that day since I really wanted to get to the top. I never actually did though. I think I stopped because Smogon Tour 12 hadn't started yet, and I didn't want people finding out about that particular team. I probably wouldn't have hit #1, but I would have made leaderboard, since I eventually did with the team later on anyway. But anywho, let's get on to the next battle. I'm going to lead with Quillfish. He is going to lead with Scyther. I stay in to set up spikes to get them over with. He stays in as well and goes for Aerial Ace. Doesn't bring me to my Sash, so it means Scyther is scarfed, since there's no recoil either. Figuring he's locked into Aerial Ace, I keep Quillfish for later so I can either set up another layer of spikes or blow up on something. I reveal Dawnfriend so I can get Stealth Rock up. Throws another Aerial Ace, confirming my suspicions. I stick with the plan and set up Stealth Rock, since Aerial Ace is a 4-hit KO after leftovers, it looks like. I know he'll switch here as well, since it's not good for him to stay in. He reveals his own Donphan. Either he's going to set up rocks, or he's going to spin my hazards away. I figured that rocks this turn is more likely, since it takes priority in the early game, and it frees Donphan up to do other things. I go to Moltres before they go up, so I can threaten Donphan out, and he does set rocks up. I stick to my guns, go for the stab Fire Blast. He switches out to reveal Melodic to take the Fire Blast. The replayer doesn't show up, but Moltres does have Life Orb. Judging from the damage Melodic took, it's running a specially defensive set, so Hidden Power Grass isn't going to 2-hit KO from there, and Melodic can actually recover off the damage from it or hit me with a Surf to potentially OHKO Moltres. Already seen 2 bulky team members, so I decided to try to sneak Qwilfish back in, with the plan being to blow up on something. And I believe it was here. I thought he might be running a variation of the team that Smurf used against Iron Bullet during the Smogon Premier League. So I didn't think he'd be running a Ghost, but he does show the Spiritomb, and Somalia saw it coming a mile away. So I do go to my own Spiritomb on this free switch, which was another big mistake. With him carrying leftovers, Will-O-Wisp was pretty obvious, and that really messes my Spiritomb up because it's choice banded. Moltres would have been a much better switch in there, despite rocks being down, but Spiritomb's only going to be good for tricking its choice band away now. So I just reveal Swellow here to get the Toxic Orb activated, since I'm not running Protect. But he switches out as well and goes back to Donphan, which was an excellent play, since I really can't risk Donphan spinning the hazards now, so I have to go back to Spiritomb. Couldn't afford to lose the hazards now that Qwilfish is gone. He did indeed rapid spin, so I decided to go ahead and trick away my choice band now, so I can just use Spiritomb for death fodder. He goes for Earthquake though, bringing Tomb to a point where it can't come back in, unless my own Donphan spins the rocks away. Which, this is kind of a double-edged sword. If he locks in a rapid spin, it gives me a free turn to do whatever I want, but if he locks into anything else, this Donphan is going to be extremely dangerous. Seeing that I'm banded, Somalia knew I had Sucker Punch, so he locked in the Ice Shard to finish Tomb off, and I bring Lantern in, and to figure this is my chance to set something up. I know he's not going to stay in, I sub up, but the poke you always see in a DPP UU match is Venusaur, so figured I could Ice Beam the imminent grass type anyway, and that's exactly what happens here. He opts for Sludge Bomb to break the sub. I can't stay in now, so I decided to go to Donphan since I wanted to use it as sleep fodder. Since Donphan is not going to be able to spin against the majority of his team anyway, so it didn't seem that useful to me, even though I hadn't seen all of his pokes yet. He goes for Sludge Bomb again, and this time I'm going to double switch to Swellow, predicting Sleep Powder again, but Somalia doesn't bite. And he reveals that the Grass Stab is actually Energy Ball. I thought it might be Leaf Storm, but it is not. Swellow's going to go down at the end of the turn anyway, so I decided to go for Facade, since that should do a hefty chunk to something. But he reveals his last, which is an Aggron. So I go back to Donphan on the free switch, and I'm trying to get Aggron out of the way since it's a big threat to my team. And I think I expected Head Smash there. So I attempted Earthquake, but he's got Ice Punch, and he easily takes out Donphan. Aggron's carrying a Life Orb as well, and I went to Lantern, which was a huge mistake. I thought I could set up. I didn't even look to see who would be faster, which Aggron is clearly. So Lantern catches an EQ, it goes down, and that switch threw away any remote chance I had of winning out the window. All I've got is Moltres. I'm able to take down Aggron, but he can easily finish me off with a Scarf Scyther. And that's going to be the match. So the moral of the story is never bring a team that you've never used to a tournament. Somalia is an excellent player though, so I doubt I would have beat him regardless, but I might have at least made it closer. Both of those were good games. Maybe we'll face each other again someday, who knows. But if you guys like what you saw, you already know what to do. And until next episode, Chun is out. Peace.